Okay, hey there guys. So today's war is actually going to be a double video. I got one behind, and I actually didn't even realize it at first. I just somehow forgot. I was a little bit busy the past couple days, so I guess it slipped my mind. But we're going to start off with the Kenobi War, which was the final war of the third week. I believe it was War 9. So, coming in here, going down Path 4 again, pretty usual, pretty standard. Have this Storm Pyramid X here. Gonna be warlocking that. I have suicides on already, I believe, and I'm gonna take them off for the silk fight. So for this fight, there's like a couple things you can like think about for it, but pretty much I just want to play it as slow as I can because I'm not putting on a power start 1 for this because my boosts have been getting very, very thin, and this, in theory, is a pretty easy fight and what should be a pretty winnable war. So I don't think I power start 1. Let's see. Yeah, no power start 1. I don't think I have a 3-minute on for this fight, if I'm being honest. I have like a 33% special boost, though, just in case she gets to SP3, but I'll probably just die if she does that. I just have to dex the SP1s. I just have to dex a lot of SP1s before it. Once I get my infection up, I'm able to start parrying some, but as you can see, that's not YouTube's issue. That was my phone in the moment. Just massive lag spike during the war, and I was so panicked because I hate when that happens when I'm playing, because that happens a fair bit nowadays, at least for me, where like it sticks and it like doesn't, your characters don't move, but it does the next action you've input. It's really weird sometimes. Once you get up to that first special, though, it's really easy because she cannot glance specials. Because of that lag spike, I actually turned off, I closed my app, I come back in and stuff, and I'm popping the power start 1 here because, as you can see, I only had the 1, so I wanted it to last for all the fights I thought I wanted the power start 1 for. This fight is a joke. Remember I took, it was this or something else here with that Nick Fury with the SP1 spam, and I was only getting 1 Fury. Ready? 14. 14 Furies. Fun. Very fun, actually. Right there, I made a little mistake because I went to use my Unstoppable. I forgot that the Unstoppable was insult to injury effective, and I had a fair few debuffs on me there, so it had a very, very low chance of proccing, if not 0. I didn't count the debuffs there, but I would guess it was near 8. Right, so pretty low chance of proccing there. Here's another Havoc fight. It's been a while since I've done this Havoc, actually. This is definitely the fight that I most wanted the power start 1 for. I think I could take this with no power start 1 because you've placed with willpower, so I have 2 sources of my power control in this fight. But this fight is so easy with the power start 1. You just parry a lot. You just try to get your parries up because you power drain on the non-contact hits, as you can see. And then the other big thing is I need that infection up, but the infection actually, wait, does it build on the non-contact? It doesn't build on the non-contact, but it builds from it being a parry, I believe is what it is. But so the first one only does 50, it does like around 50%, right? But now because this one's going to have 4 armor breaks halfway through, and it did the 40% of his health. So really easy once you get those armor breaks. It's a really, really fast fight. So I dropped my suicides. I switched from tech to science boosts just to make this fight a little bit safer, and I'm going to throw in an invul as well. Power start 1 fell off, and I was like, well, invul probably makes a bit more sense for this. The couple things to like keep track of here are you obviously want to be using your heavies a lot for 2 reasons. One, he gains unstoppable on specials and a couple other things, but I do have a slow, so I can counter that. But something I forgot about that Rintra does is that certain charges, I actually kind of forgot which one it is, he goes stun immune actually, and I'm going to get hit by that. This fight is going to go very, very poorly by me, but Silk is just a bit too strong. Just a little bit. So right here, I'm just using my heavy. What I needed to do is I needed to dash in here to use my auto evade, because then I would have been able to punish the SP2. Because I don't do that, I get 2 power stings on me, so he goes unblockable, and he's going to be unblockable the rest of the fight. I throw that, and every hit's giving him charges because of the placebos. So he gets up the unstoppable, and I was a bit panicked there, but then I remembered I had the slow, and right there is what I was talking about. It must be like 15 plus. He gets a, I literally just said what it was. It was stun immune. Right here, he's pretty close to those charges falling off, so I'm just staying back, just letting him, like, naturally let those fall off. So what my plan is here, I'm going to go in, I'm going to drop my combo, which is 5 hits, 6 hits. The striker doesn't count for the hits, but my plan is I just need to get my SP2 up before the power sting came back around. And that SP2 does a ton of damage. And again, here I should dash in to use my, what's it called? To use my auto evade, because I don't want to just throw this special into him, because he'll go unstoppable here. And he's actually just healing a ton right now, which is a really big issue. But I'm able to finish it off. It was not a very clean Silk fight, but it was a well-handled, poor fight, in my opinion. I didn't do it right, is pretty much what I'm trying to say, but I did a good job not letting it get too much further out of hand. And as I said, that war, I felt like it should have been a pretty, like, not comfortable win, but it was definitely very winnable for us. Very good job from them. I love seeing Kenobi back up here. Love the little stuff they're doing and getting back up to Masters. So that's really fun. And then the second war here, as you can tell from the thumbnail and everything, obviously, is going to be against GT40. This war was so fun for me. I ended up with 4 fights, but my plan got changed so many times after it was released. It was actually really, really funny. There was a lot of just stuff going on in my BG, and just specifically around my fights, because I was assigned a champion, but the champion wasn't really available, and then I was also assigned this other champion. I'm like, well, I'd just rather use this champ, but then it was just like, it was this constant, like, well, which champion are we actually going to use? And it took so long to figure it out. And I was doing this, I had to leave, like, right at a certain time, and I was doing this with, like, 10 minutes to spare or something. So it was, like, this tight, like, I got to get these fights done, and I wasn't sure how long one fight would take. So this Mephisto fight is going to be very simple. It's a Mephisto with Torch. What I'm checking and I'm thinking about if I wanted to put on any 3-minute boosts. Again, I only have one of the 2 good ones, and I can't really use a heal block, so I don't really put anything on. But I'm not going to talk about this fight right now, because this fight goes exactly as you think it will. I'll talk about it a little bit. So, the fights that are a big concern are the next 3. The one I wasn't concerned about, the 2 I was. So that thing there, I'm going to be taking with Mole Man. And so that's the Protection Fury node. Not Protection Fury, it's the same node, right? Build up Fury. Every time I purify a debuff, I get a Fury, but if I get 3 debuffs on me, he gets a big Fury. And it's also insult to injury, so I'll also have lower ability accuracy. So I don't want to go Frenzy, because my crits could potentially do too much damage, especially any SP2. I tested it out, any crit SP2, just protection, right? So as you can see, this fight, zooming, literally as well as it can go. I think I'm just going to throw a special here in just a second, just to, like, time him out. But so that thing, oh no, I don't, I just literally let him die. Okay, so this thing fight, I put on Suicides. I was trying to decide if I was going to, I'm like, I'm going to put Suicides on now. I was worried about, like, the math of it, if it would, like, affect it poorly or anything. So there's a lot to think about for this fight. If I'm not in Frenzy, I don't have consistent bleeds. I should be getting, like, a bleed a combo, right? Like, crit rate, I should just get some. But I'm not going to get consistent crits, right? So by not getting the consistent crits, I don't have a consistent way of dealing with his rock stacks, but I should deal with them fairly well. This fight starts super well. We were actually very worried about if I would just be hitting too much protection with those Furies. But even with the 3 Furies, 4 Furies at the start, I actually wasn't. But this is where the fight's actually going to start slowing down a little bit, if I remember correctly. So I'm trying to just keep triggering my Unstoppables, because as I said, we decided I did not want to go to Frenzy, because I did not want, like, a full crit SP2 or something. Because, right, those crits, sometimes, that medium crit right there, just trigger protection. So I don't want to be doing that too often. And I'm going to hold this SP3 in case he gets a bad in case I get bad charges. Like right there, I do 1 hit and back off, because I'm not sure what's going to happen. So then he goes up, and I'm like, okay, he has just a couple charges off the 15. I'm going to hit his block to clear his charges. When I clear his charges, his protection is going to be less effective and less efficient, because protection and charges are directly correlated. So if I can remove that, it's always good. And the cruelty there from Black Panther is making me do actually a little bit too much damage, which is a bit funny. And right here, right, I'm like, I push him to 15, but I also get the bleed on that 15th. I get another bleed there, so I'm like, okay, that's good. The 1 blocked hit there, I'm like, okay, another bleed. Just keeps pushing, but he gets 14. I go hit, like, no crit. SP3, we'll see what happens. If it triggers protection, it might not kill, but I'm like, I think this is not going to trigger protection. I think I'm just going to kill him here. So as you can see, this is a great little finisher here. It does more than 10% damage by a lot, actually. But it's a nice little finish, and I was really happy with that fight because we were not sure how that was going to go when we were talking about it. That was the main fight that made the plan very, like, weird. It was these two science champions, because I'm going to go somewhere I haven't gone in a while on this channel, is Path 9 Section 2. So I have this Spider Ham here from Revenge. Also, I mean, I guess I mentioned it's GT40 at the start, right? So yeah, it's GT40, so trying my best here, right? But, so this is the Spider Ham from Revenge here. It's an Ascended, rank 5, I believe is what that was. I didn't realize it was Ascended before I got it in this fight, so I was like, shoot. So I cannot put on the Advanced Power Boost because you do not Advanced Power Boost against Spider Ham, because you want to instantly be throwing your SP1 when you get it with most champions. I want to just make this clear again. With most champions, you instantly SP1, especially with Mole Man. Because it actually allows you to go into Frenzy, but again, for the second fight in a row, I was told to not go into Frenzy, which honestly, I'm not sure if that was the right play, like, thinking back on it, but as you can see, I'm doing just fine damage here. So it's Hazard Shift, but I'm shock immune, right? So what my plan here is I'm not gonna go Frenzy, and I'm gonna go ham in the shock phase. I'm gonna burn some unstoppables in the bleed phase and bait out a special. But Spider Ham being Spider Ham is going to be very, very stingy here and actually really messes up my rhythm of this fight. I probably should have just gone back in once the shock phase came back up because it's Power Focus 2. He's not getting an SP3. And this is where I'm about to make a bit of a mistake in this fight, is I think right here. No, it's not yet. I'm against my wall, and I do too much of a combo, and I'm like, shoot, I have an SP1. Shoot. I have SP1 and 4 charges. What am I going to do here? Do I trigger Frenzy, or do I, like... So I end up throwing the SP1 because... So I think what I should have done is I shouldn't have thrown SP1 because when you have the sub 10 charges, you keep your True Strike. What I should have done is I should have kept my True Strike there. So here I'm going in, and he is evading so much. And another, not important, but another thing I could have done is I could have used my Frenzy's unblockable resistance to actually negate his unblockable after that. I realized that, and then right as I realized I should have been doing that was when my Frenzy fell off, ironically. So there was a couple things I should have done, which was just not throw the SP1 and keep my True Strike, or once I had the Frenzy, I just needed to, like, commit in pretty much. I think I played it again fairly well with a couple, like, mistakes in there about getting evaded and not throwing my SP1, and I was happy I was able to maintain the fight and just finish it out, because Spider Ham can get messy so fast. He's a fight that when it goes wrong, it just falls off a cliff. So Weapon X on Path 9 as well. I don't have an Odin, which was why we were considering not sending me with Nimrod, actually. So what I do here is I'm just building a couple parries up, and I'm like, you know what, I wonder how much my heavy will do to me. Okay, that's a lot, plus a shock. I'm not going to do that again, so I'm just continuing to parry. Right here is where I'm going to go in. Takes a massive chunk because I had the 14. And then the thing I wanted to make sure about was I do not have a stun on him when I throw the SP2, so I'm using its block breaking potential to break through his block, and it's a 23-second fight. No Odins. No Odins, one eye open, 23 seconds. I think I was in such a rush to get out after this, because this ended like right when I had to get going. It was perfect timing. So we ended up losing to GT40, so this war video, I'm going 1-1 in it. 5-4, this was just a clown fiesta of a war. There's no other way to get around it. Like, GT40 has dropped like 6 deaths all season, I swear. Not actually, but like, you get what I mean. They've dropped so few deaths, and like, this is pretty much how many deaths they've dropped in the rest of the season. And even though this has not been our best season, we've had plenty of wars where this would have been an easy win for us, but both alliances just played very poorly today. 5-4 might be a good score overall, but for like us matching GT40, 5-4 is a very bad score for both alliances, if I'm being real. It was a very fun war. I always enjoy facing them. I always enjoy the trash talk with old friends about this, but this war did not go well from either side, in my opinion. They got the win. They deserved the win in this war. They deserved this win in the season. That war against us should have given them the lock-on season. So congrats to them and GG's to them. This has been a very fun season, thank you guys for coming and watching this video. I know it's a bit of a longer one, but thank you for sticking around until the end, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the final war week. Bye.